Not a quality game, but an entertaining one all the same. My name's Mark. Let's talk rugby. This one was, a bit of a scrappy game, and there was actually plenty of scrapping in the game as well. Both teams kind of having a go, even like after, the game was over, there was still a bit of, pushing and shoving and some words exchanged as well. But entertaining game all the same. So Edinburgh, they attack early. They're in the 22. Ali Price snipes, but gets caught. The ball turned over, and then Oxenche actually smashes a kick downfield that's covered well by Patterson. Patterson then takes a high kick, but Esterhuizen gets over the ball to win a penalty for Sharks. I thought he was absolutely excellent tonight, especially in defence. Like multiple try-saving interventions from him. Then Hendricks slots the penalty for 3-0. Khaleesi then gets over the ball again, and Hendricks calls for the tee. He's about 60 metres out this time. Never on target, but he did actually have the distance, which is kind of interesting. Then Sharks on a penalty from the first scrum, but they miss touch with the kick up the line. Then Edinburgh win a penalty, and they return the favour by missing the touch coming back. Edinburgh then go through the phases in the 22. Momentum almost lost. Richie kind of juggled with the ball as he took a tackle, but then lovely one-handed offload from him keeps that going. They go wide right, and then Lang delivers an acrobatic finish as Van Heerden came across to cover. He scores in the corner. Converse has missed 5-3. Lang then puts McCann away down the left. He's going for the corner, but Am puts in a great tap tackle to save a try. Edinburgh recycle, and they've then got a 5-metre attacking scrum for knock on by the Sharks. Edinburgh win a penalty then for offside as they attack from the scrum. They tap it and go quickly. Richie goes to the line, but he knocks on. Sharks kick clear. And, just maybe, relax a little bit, I think, in terms of Edinburgh there. Didn't have to rush so much with things. Lang then goes down the right to try to collect a kick pass, but he's smashed by Fassi, and then he goes flying into a ball girl. But thankfully she's fine, laughing about her friend afterwards. Could have been a lot worse for her. Sharks then work it into 22. They're going one out with big carries, but Edinburgh defence forces a knock on from them, and then Edinburgh, they lose McCann to injury. He's replaced by Jack Brown, who I thought, had a decent enough game, 19-year-old coming on. Edinburgh then strike out in the right corner again. Thompson with a nice long pass out to Richie. He finds Curry out wide, and then Curry gives it back in to Richie. He goes over. Conversion is missed, 10-3. Then Koch taking the man out early at the line out, and Thompson goes up the line into 22 from the pen to go to the maul, but Sharks disrupt it well and cause a knock on. Then they win a penalty at the resulting scrum, and thought the Sharks maul defence was particularly good tonight. Muncaster then over the ball, but he's off his feet. Hendricks makes his 10-6 from the tee, and that was the halftime score. Into the second half then, Edinburgh, they were on top in the first half, but Sharks only 4 points back, and that had to be a worry for them because, Edinburgh had most of the possession and territory in that half, but didn't really make a count. At the start of the second half then, Am goes through a gap into 22, draws the cover and puts Fassi over to score. Henderson converts, 13-10, Sharks lead. Edinburgh then put a grubber in behind the Sharks defence. Fassi gets there first, but overruns the ball. Edinburgh pick up 5 metres out. Then Esterhuizen again with another brilliant try saver. Sharks so infringe, and Am goes to the bin. Edinburgh then camped on the line, winning a number of penalty advantages. Then we have just an absolutely huge melee as tempers boil over. Skinner and Etzebeth go to the bin for starting it. We're 14 versus 13, and the two of them were having a go at each other as well on the way off the field. Edinburgh then tapped a penalty, Recycle, and Ashman crashes over, converted for 17 points to 13. Sharks then win a penalty at the restart. Hendrickson use up most of the shot clock, trying to burn that double yellow card period, but then he drags the kick left and wide of the post. Richie then falling on the wrong side, and Sharks, they decide to go to the corner this time. Edinburgh sacked them all, but they were off their feet after that, and it's another penalty. And then all the sim bin players return, and we're back to 15 all. Edinburgh then halt them all, and they're able to kick clear because the Sharks try and spread it, loose pass. Edinburgh picked it off. They could have broken, but the kick went into touch rather than down the field. Another pen for the Sharks on the edge of 22, and Edinburgh get a warning for the number of penalties they're conceding. Hendrickson with another chance from the tee, and he does exactly the same thing again, drags it left and wide. Edinburgh then surviving, but you feel like they need to offer something in attack. Otherwise, the Sharks are inevitably going to score, get that winning score. Then a kick by Ali Price is actually just inside the 22. Masuku doesn't mark it though, and carries it out of the 22. Richie gets over the ball, wins a penalty. The penalty then is marched 10 metres forward for Sharks, shouting at the assistant referee. Edinburgh go to the corner. They claim the line out, and the maul drives forward. Muncaster goes over, but he's turned on his back and held up by Khaleesi. Brilliant defence again, but back for another penalty. Again, they're battering away at the line. Esterhazen with another great hit as the Sharks are holding them out. I think that one was on Dave Cherry, and eventually they turn it over and clear. Just amazing, epic defence from the Sharks. But again, in attack, not much quality from either team. Cherry then goes through a gap and charges into 22. Edinburgh go for a cross kick after recycling it to Brown, but the ball bounces and beats him into touch. Then it's, again, another one of those games where you just feel like whatever team can find that, some composure and a moment of quality is probably going to win. And then Pimpy then, he drops an up and under by who was it? Shields came on at scrum half, I think. Then Edinburgh go for the cross kick again to Brown. He does catch it this time. He's going for the line. Lovely step from him. And then it looks like he's going over, but fantastic covering tackle. Didn't see exactly who it was, and wouldn't be surprised if it was Esterhazen again, though, as well. But he gets held up over the line, and then just more fantastic defence from the Sharks. Then they win a penalty in the final minute to go to the corner. They pile half of their backs into the maul, but it gets halted short of the line. They're battering away at the line. They've got penalty advantage right in the shadow of the post, but they need a try. So then they spread it. Masuku, lovely long pass wide, and then Mapimpi goes over in the corner to win the game. We're in the red. Conversions missed. It doesn't matter. 18 points to 7. Sharks win, and that was the full-time score. So brilliant win for them. Edinburgh, they had their chances and couldn't take them. But let's look at the stats, and then we'll talk a bit more about each of the teams. So let me pull them up here on the official site. And let's hope that there's some way up to date, because not always straight after the match. Okay, so start with attack. Tries, 3 tries to 2 in favour of Edinburgh. They were looking for that winning score, and it would have been a big one for them, because it would have been the 4th try and a bonus point as well. So they would have got 5 points out of the game. As it ended, though, only 1 losing bonus point instead. Possession then 63% to 37. As I said, they bossed most of the possession, but they just couldn't do anything with it. And you got to give some credit, certainly, a lot of credit to the Sharks defence, but also you got to lay some blame on Edinburgh themselves, not being able to, finish off moves that should have been tries. Clean breaks then 11 to 4. Defenders beating 29 to 13. So you can see Sharks offered very little in attack. Offloads 8-2. Then on to defence territory, 69% to 31. Again, Edinburgh, more than 2/3 of the game spent in that Hollywood bet Sharks half, but didn't matter. Couldn't do anything with it. Number of tackles, 87 to 165. Mixed tackles, 13 to 29. Tackle success, 84 for Edinburgh is okay. 80% for Sharks is pretty poor at this level. Turnovers 1, but again, when they needed it though, on the line, defense is brilliant. But turnovers 1, then 5 for Edinburgh, 3 for Sharks. With Sharks coming up with, some real doozies of turnovers to secure the win. Then kicks retained, 8 for Edinburgh and 1 for Sharks. The problem though with the kicks retained by Edinburgh was they catch the ball, they get surrounded by Sharks players, and they find it very hard then to actually move the ball from there. So it was a decent idea, but they never really got much benefit from it, honestly. Then penalties, 10 penalties each conceded. Both teams having periods where they're on the bad side of the referee and periods where both of them at the same time were on the bad side of the referee, especially around those yellow cards. On to then individual players. So in terms of, we'll look at tries. So 1 try for Ashman and 1 for Mapimpi. And then successful carries. You got Pierre Schumann with 9 for Edinburgh, and then Oxenshea with 5 for Sharks, and also that one crazy kick that he put in as well. Clean breaks then, James Lang with 3, and Mapimpi just a 1 for the Sharks. The Defenders beaten then, Lang with 5 and Esterhazen with 3, so doing well both sides of the ball. Meters made then, Patterson with 68 and Fassi with 47. Offloads, Jamie Ritchie with 2, one of them leading to one of the tries as well. And then Grant with 1. Onto defence then, Ben Muncaster with 11 tackles and Buthelezi with 18. Just Buthelezi, didn't mention him in the game itself, but just going through that kind of unseen work, and putting in a lot of tackles, and I'm sure a lot of his teammates would have been probably ahead of Muncaster as well, a number of tackles. Turnovers 1 then, Jamie Ritchie 2, and Esterhazen with 2. For me, Esterhazen was man of the match. I don't know who officially got it, but if he didn't get it, I think it would have been a bit of a travesty on that. So let's then talk about each of the teams. So we start with the home team, Edinburgh. They had all that ball, all that possession. They were in the 22 for long periods of time. Yes, the Sharks' defense was excellent, but you feel like they left a try or two out there. That they needed a little bit more composure. They needed to maybe take the Sharks through a few more phases. There were times when they went for kicks where they could have put the ball through hand. There were times as well where you felt like the forwards were having to go, and by the time they decided they were going to go to the backs, it was too late because the Sharks had already got the defence reorganised and moved players out. Where if they sucked them in, and then as soon as they'd done that and they had men over, they had moved it, they could have got over, but there was maybe a little bit of white line fever, especially in the forwards from them. And maybe, with that, you wonder about the direction from 9 and 10 in terms of, spotting that space and exploiting it as well, especially with the ball in hand, because it felt like they should have been able to get over for that 4th try, but they never did it. Also in terms of just their own defense as well, the tries they conceded, the Sharks, didn't have to work too hard for the tries that they got, a couple of tries like brilliant break from him, but it felt very easy in terms of just being able to break the line and then give a pass and you're over. Compare that to the amount of times that Edinburgh broke the line and weren't able to do that. And then the final one, yes, they were on penalty advantage, but you felt like it again. All they had to do was get, for Sharks, get to the width, and the space was there for them to score. So Edinburgh maybe not numbering up well enough, and maybe not like they put a big effort into stopping that maul, especially when there was 2 or 3 backs piling in as well. And I think maybe they never realigned, correctly after that, especially given that the Sharks are battering away at the line, so they probably couldn't spare the men to put a few more out wide. But again, maybe defense a little suspect from them, I think. And also, the scrum was a problem, like so many penalties that they gave away and allowed the Sharks kind of decent field position too. Not great on that one. And then in terms of the maul defense wasn't that good. And also, again, the fact that they knew that the Sharks are going to go to the maul, again, I don't see why teams don't put someone up in the air to try and properly contest it. They're always kind of worried about just let's get set for the maul. And for me, it's like just stop it at source. Like get somebody up. When they did get up and they disrupted, they actually did well, especially in that first half. Didn't see as much of it though in the second half from them. Onto the Sharks then. In terms of like the play, not really in the game, but on the scoreboard certainly so. Defended excellently. They took their points when they could. Obviously, they tried to take a few more points, but Hendricks got a little bit wayward from the tee. But Edinburgh left a few conversions out there as well. But the thing from the Sharks was they were always staying within that kind of one score, when they were behind. And as I said, while I was watching the game, I felt the same thing as well. If Edinburgh don't score, Sharks can just get a chance, and that's it. Game is done, and that's what happened. The Sharks took their chances. Certainly, in terms of the two teams out there, they were the second best team, but they're the ones that took their points and took their chances, and they delivered right at the end. When at the crucial moment, when Edinburgh had chances, tons of chances, and couldn't do the same thing up the other end. So fair play to the Sharks. I think a really well-deserved win for them, simply because it was built on a brilliant defence and being clinical up the other end. And, a lot of the time that's what, that's the kind of things you need to win games. There's no point having tons of ball and tons of territory, if you're not actually getting points out of it. And Edinburgh just weren't getting enough points. And again, credit goes to the Sharks for that. So the Sharks now putting pressure on the Bulls ahead of them as well. And for Edinburgh, certainly not out of the playoff chances now, because with that losing bonus point now, they're still in the top 8, but we've obviously got the rest of the games to come. So I wouldn't be surprised if they find themselves maybe 9th or 10th by the end of this weekend. And, they've got 3 games left then to get themselves back up. So you would feel from there they probably need to win 2 of the last 3 games to have a realistic chance of making the playoffs. And even that may not be enough for them. So, this was a big chance for them. They didn't take it. The Sharks did. And again, well done to the Sharks for that. And Edinburgh, the flakiness continues, unfortunately for them. But that's the end of this one. So let me know what you think down in the comments.